Hello, my name is David. Welcome to Sweet Figs. Today we're going to cover everything you need to know and how to fertilize your fig cuttings. Why do you need to fertilize them? How often and when do you have to do it? And then what products do you need to use? If you're interested in the process of reading cuttings, I already did a video documenting the whole process. I'll put the link in the description below. Why to fertilize your fig cuttings? The first reason it's because there's a limited amount of energy in the cutting, and that energy will be able to sustain your plant to a point. But after that, you will have to add nutrients to the plant. The second reason why we need to fertilize is because we use non-organic medium to root our cuttings, right? We needed to do that because we didn't want it to have a lot of bacteria and fungus that could rot our cuttings. But that also means that there's no nutrition in that medium for our cuttings. Remember that this is a very young plant with very young roots. It will be hard for this plant to absorb nutrients very fast. That's why we want to start the fertilizing to help the plant grow faster. Also remember that we cannot use any slow release fertilizer because that is going to be very slowly released into the plant, and this young plant will not be able to absorb that fast enough to grow. Remember that when we use a slow release fertilizer, we need the potting mix with a lot of bacteria like compost and some other organic matter that can break down that fertilizer and actually feed your plant after that. But because we are using inert medium, we will not be able to use slow release. And if you use slow release, you will see that your plant is going to start slowing down its growth. Now, when to fertilize your fig cuttings? It is very important to start fertilizing as soon as you see some leaves, because the leaves are going to be the solar panels of your cutting, and once you have leaves, you want to expose them to sunlight to process the sunlight, and using the fertilizer that we added in the root is going to start growing fast. Usually that is around week 4 to 6 that you're going to start seeing, you already have some roots and you're going to start seeing some leaves. That is the perfect time to start fertilizing your fig cuttings. What fertilizers to use? As I told you, it's not a very good idea to use a slow release organic fertilizer in your cuttings because this has organic matter and organic material that can cause rot in your cuttings and combined with the humidity in the soil. So you definitely do not want to use this. Now, don't get me wrong, this is awesome for in-ground trees and for container trees in general, but for very young plants that are susceptible to rot and disease, this is not a very good time to use it. Another fertilizer that you should not use in your cuttings yet is this Alaska fish emulsion. This stuff is like one of the best fertilizers you can give to your fig trees once your fig trees are big and can tolerate the organic materials. But right now, this is not a very good idea because it is organic. Now, this is a very good fertilizer to use. These are called water-soluble fertilizers. I like using Miracle Grow, which is another brand, but also this Expert Gardener brand from Walmart is very cheap. I like to use the first 4 to 5 weeks of fertilizing this higher in nitrogen fertilizer. This is called the plant food, all-purpose plant food, but actually is very high in nitrogen. It is 24A16, as you can see here. Now we're going to talk about the dose of using these fertilizers in a bit, but this will be good for the first 4 to 5 weeks. After that, I will move to the tomato, Miracle Grow tomato, because it has a more balanced number, right? This is 18-18-21, which is a more balanced fertilizer. If you look online, most people will advise you to use balanced fertilizers for fig trees. Now, if you read the instructions on how much product to use for the water-soluble fertilizer, they range from 1 to 1.5 tablespoons per gallon. That concentration is very, very strong, and they recommend to use it every 2 weeks. Now, something that I do for my container trees is that I use half-strength fertilizer every week. Now, these cuttings are very young. They have very young roots, which is still very susceptible to these fertilizers. So you have to be very careful. That's why we're gonna use a quarter of a teaspoon per gallon of water. And that is gonna give you the chance to use it more often in your plants, giving them a constant feeding over time. Just wanna warn you that if you use a very high concentration, you can burn your plants. It had happened to me, and I burned a couple of containing trees in the past, and I learned to microdose these fertilizers. These fertilizers are very effective, but you have to microdose them. So remember, 1/4 of a teaspoon for 1 gallon of water, and that would allow you to water your plants with that solution every week or every 2 times a week even, without burning your plants. So here I'm going to show you how to prepare the fertilizer. Here in this bowl we have roughly 4 liters of water, which is roughly a gallon. I'm going to add this soluble fertilizer because my cutting is already somehow mature. I'm going to use the tomato, Miracle Gold tomato. So I'm going to use 1/4 of a teaspoon per gallon of water. So I take 1/4 of a teaspoon, add it to the water, and then we need to dissolve it very well. And this is a very weak concentration, right? We want to do that because we do not want to burn the plants. Now the water soluble fertilizer is completely dissolved into the water. We're gonna add it to the cutting. So this is a cutting that needs some fertilizer. So I'm gonna take just a little bit of the solution, and I'm gonna add it to the cutting. Remember not to overwater your cuttings. When you're watering your cuttings, you should be able to see that it's dry on the top, and also using the moisture meter, you can check that it needs some water. I'm gonna do a video on watering fig cuttings in a few days. So we just add a little bit of fertilizer. Remember, we don't want to add a lot of fertilizer. We just want to do a constant feeding over time. 1 or 2 times a week should be enough for this cutting. So here you can see the results of using that fertilizer. You can see that the leaves are not burnt at all and actually getting bigger and healthier every day. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please comment, like, and subscribe. Making this video takes a lot of work. There will be some very important videos coming next, which will include how to water your fig cuttings, how to pot your fig cuttings, and how to introduce your fig cuttings to sunlight. So just keep an eye on the channel. Thank you for watching.